Hi. I love this book. I love this book. I love this book. It's so amazing. I'm going to cry. I just read the best scene ever. I don't know, this is the arc that I'm reading, but it's the chapter this chapter's called Wolf Country. It's chapter 15. And it ends in the best way in the entire world. I'm so obsessed. I'm so obsessed. I love this book. I love this book. I need to go pre-order it because I want to support Margaret Owen because this book is so good. It is so freaking amazing. I don't even know what to tell you guys. Like this book is phenomenal. I haven't even filmed my intro for this vlog yet, and I just knew I had to come on here and just tell you guys that I love this book so much, and please go pre-order it because you won't regret it. I'm dead. I'm dead. This book has deceased me. Okay, I'm gonna go back to reading it now. That's all I wanna do today is read it. Okay, bye. I finished it. Oh my god, that was so good. What a phenomenal book. Phenomenal. Just, oh my god. Here. Let me sit this up so I can sit here properly. I want to marry this book. Oh my god. I can't. This book was so good. You guys. Like, you guys don't understand. So for those of you who didn't watch my last vlog, The Merciful Crow is by Margaret Owen. It comes out July 30th, if I'm correct. And we follow, so in this world, there are different castes and they're all distinct by different birds. So the top caste is the phoenix caste, and the phoenixes are all people who are royalty. And then you have the lowest caste, which are the crows, and each caste has a birthright, which is kind of like this power that they have. So the phoenix's birthright is fire, so they can't be, burned by fire or anything like that. When they're strong, they can actually wield fire, and in each caste there are witches, and witches have like triple the power than normal. So phoenix witches can command like massive things of like fire and can like burn down villages and things like that. And then you have the hawks, their birthright is blood, so they're kind of known, they can like kind of think of like heartrenders almost from British trilogy. Like they can kind of mess with like people's blood on the inside and like kill them, like slash them, or they can also heal them if they're witches. So hawk witches are able to heal as well as harm. And then there are, one of the lower castes is pigeons, and I think that they're pigeons that have luck, and so they are just luckier than normal, and pigeon witches can command luck or command misfortune to people. And then the lowest case, like I said, are crows, and crows don't have birthrights, they have no specialty. But in this world there is a plague that is going on, and crows never get affected by the plague, they never die by the plague, so their role in this world, they're kind of shunned. Like no one likes them, they're kind of like the lowest of the low. People kind of think of them as just kind of scum of the world, but they respond to plague beacons, and they go to different capitals and different towns to collect bodies that have been killed or that are dying of the plague, to then take them and burn them on a pyre, because if you don't kill someone who's dying by the plague and you leave the body there to rot, it will then spread through the entire town and kill everyone. So that is what the crow's role is. However, crows also have witches, and the crows all have different bands because like they obviously have to respond to like all different plague beacons. So in Fee's band of crows, her pa is the chief, and he is a crow witch, which is essentially a bone witch. And what that means is through touching a bone of someone, or their teeth, more specifically having someone's teeth, they're able to take that person's birthright. So they can call upon a pigeon tooth to kind of bring luck to the band, or they can use a hawk witch's tooth to heal someone in their band and things like that. So it's really awesome. And so we follow Fee and her band of crows. So there's Fee, who is a chief in training. She is a crow witch. And then their chief, who is her pa, but like not her blood pa, just like her pa. So the story starts off, and what happens is they are answering a plague beacon in the capital. So they're headed to the capital, and they've as they're going along, they've kind of figured out, okay, these bodies that we're collecting, one of them must be the prince. So they've collected the dead body of the prince and this other person, and they've taken out the capital, and they're going to go burn the bodies. But when Fee goes to pull it back, they're alive, and it's the prince and his body double. And, you know, her dad has kind of, you know, made this deal with him that he'll help them get out, and that's kind of it. And then they kind of ask, you know, to help them bring them to allies. They ask the crows to kind of take them in and kind of guide them to get to where they need to be, and kind of be their guardians on their road to get to their allies. Because what's happening is that in this world, the queen at the moment is trying to take over. She's trying to kill the king, and has tried multiple times to kill the prince, and has successfully killed other people who are in line for the thrones that she can take over. And the thing is that if she takes over, she has aligned herself with these people who have it in for the crows, and she's decided, you know, if these people help her, she will completely abolish the crows and get rid of them, because a lot of people think that the crows have, you know, started the plague to kind of give them a purpose, and that's the reason why they're not affected by it. And it's just all this BS that people are just being rude to the crows, and it's really unnecessary and freaking annoying, and it pisses you off as you read it. But anyway, so they decide to take in the prince and his body double. And the body double is actually a hawk, but he's actually a hawk witch, so he's really useful for actually them to have. And it's kind of this journey that they're going on, and the fact is that, like, you know, Fee has made him swear an oath that, you know, if they deliver him to his allies, he will then in turn, once he becomes king, will help out the crows and bring them to safety and things like that. So that's kind of what the story is about. And it is just so amazing. There is really great representation in this. I don't really know what everyone's sexuality is. Some of the characters actually just go by their or them, so I don't really know if there's non-binary in this. Nothing's ever explicitly said. So the prince in this, he is explicitly, like, you know, he likes other men, but that's kind of all that's mentioned. We have another character in this that explicitly says that gender doesn't really matter to them, that it's not something that they ever really cared about. There are other characters in this who, you know, have wives and husbands, or, you know, they take lovers of men and women, you know. But overall, it's just such an amazing book. The writing is beautiful. The battle scenes are great. It never lagged. I was never bored. I always wanted to read more. I just adored it. I think that there was such solid character development. This is definitely going to be my top 5 of the year. I don't know how many of the books I'm going to read this year that may top it. Maybe Ninth House, maybe, but I really don't even know if that will, because this book was just so up my alley and so perfect and just so beautifully written. And Margaret Owen is now obviously an insta buy author for me, because I absolutely just adore the work that she's done on this book. And that's all I have to say. I just loved it. I loved it so much. It's such an amazing book. Please pre-order it. And I actually just tweeted out to Margaret Owen today when I got to think it was chapter 15. Once I finished chapter 15, I was just all giggles and smiles and just absolutely in love that I tweeted out to her. And she said that there may be a pre-order incentive coming soon, so that's really awesome. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I'll also let you guys know if I do find out. But yes, I also want to say, as serious as this book is, there are a lot of moments that are kind of funny. And I will say that this book is, it's not gorish, but it is a little bit, but nothing that I think would actually turn people off. I will say that there are a lot of made up words, but I think that the magic system in this is so phenomenal. I've never read anything like this, and I'm in love with this book. I am in love with this book. I would marry this book if I could, but I'm not going to, because I have other things to do. But if I could, I would marry this book, because it is so freaking phenomenal. I'm in love. I'm in love with this book. That's all I have to say. Public service announcement. I love this book. Okay, that's all I have to say for now. I'll catch you guys up later. Okay, so it's like 11:37 p.m. I decided to just watch a bunch of episodes of Psych, and then I played some Tomb Raider. So that's all I've done tonight. I think I'm going to just have a shower now, get ready for bed, and then I'm either going to, I have 2 books that I kind of started that I've been like not reading, they've just been like on the side, and that is To Best the Boys and The Hating Game. So I'm just gonna see which one of those I feel like picking up for tomorrow, just because I don't want to start anything new yet, since I'm still trying to figure out like my TBR for the book junkie trials. So I really want to decide that tomorrow. I also think I'm going to make like a sheet that has all the arcs that I currently have on it and all the days like when they are released, so I can kind of just make sure that I stay on track with those, because I think that's like my biggest issue at the moment. Is just I want to make sure I get all that done. And yeah, so I'll just talk to you guys in the morning. Okay, bye. Good morning. Good morning. Hi. What? So I just went to the pool for a little bit. I'm 71 pages into the hating game, and oh my god, I got really good. I legit put this down at 35 pages to pick up something else, and I wish I hadn't, because literally 10 pages later it got so good. And yeah, I'm having so much fun. I'm just gonna go do a little bit of grocery shopping right now, but yeah. Okay, I am so close to finishing the hating game, and it is so good. Oh, hi Mimi. I know I've been out all day sunbaking. Yeah. I know, Mama's sorry. I'm just gonna jump in the shower now quickly, and then I'll come back and talk to you guys properly, because I need to take an Advil, because I kind of have a bit of a headache, because I didn't drink enough water while sitting in the sun, because I always do this. Okay. I have a headache and it's not going away, and I've taken 3 Advil and it's like here. I hate everything. I'm gonna try and read, but I've kind of just been like lying in bed hoping it'll go away, but it really hasn't, so I'm just gonna try and read a little bit now. Okay, bye. You guys, I finally finished it. It was so good. Oh my god. Like the first 30 pages I had trouble getting into, but I think that was just because I was honestly exhausted. I was just falling asleep every single time the first 30 pages. But yesterday, once I started properly reading it, I could not put it down. I literally read all of it yesterday, save for like the last 30 pages, which I read today, like just now, and I'm in love with. Like, I know exactly where this book is going. It is going to be choose a book that makes you happy. This book makes me so happy. I laughed and smiled so many times throughout this. I personally think this might be a really solid beginner smut book. It's not that graphic sex-wise, but it's graphic enough, if that makes sense. But oh my god, it's so steamy. The makeout scenes in this are so steamy, and I see myself in Lucy so much. I'm not short like she is, but everything else in her, I'm just like, oh my god, she is me. Also, if you hear that noise, that's my washing machine. I had to wash my sheets and towels today. But I think I'm gonna pick back up to Best of Boys. I was this far through before I put it down last, so I want to pick that back up and finish it. But it is currently 12:30 in the afternoon. Okay, that's all for now. Bye. Okie dokie, I just finished filming my wrap up. No, my book, no. What I just finished filming, my mid-year book freak out tag. That's it. But look at this awesome eye makeup I did. I am loving it. Yes, it's all purpley. I'm just gonna chill now. I'm going to pick up, I think, 2 Best the Boys to read, because I started that, like I mentioned this before actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up 2 Best the Boys once I have finished editing this video. And yeah, that's kind of it for now. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Oh, look at us. This is why I never get any work done, because she sits right here. And what can I do? Hey guys, it's me. So I thought I'd just come on here. It is 3:39 in the afternoon right now. I have been having a really bad mental health day, but I'm supposed to be going tonight to Books of Wonder to see Steph and Nikki to go to the Kat Cho signing. and I don't know, I'm freaking out. Like, I want to go, I want to see them, but like I also just don't want to leave my apartment. I'm just being really emotional about like what's going on at the moment in my life, and so I just don't know what to do. The thing is, I also just have no motivation to read. I literally went back to bed today after kind of getting the news that I got, but I want to come in here and let you guys know because I'm becoming more and more comfortable on this channel, and I think that this is just the kind of stuff that's important to talk about. That's my update for now. Positive one, huh? Bye. Okay, so I decided I am going to go out. I just filmed my limerick unboxing. I'm feeling a little bit better right now, but still a little bit off. I feel like if I go out, I can kind of distract myself, not really think about things and like mull over it. I just think it'll be better for me that way. So that's the main reason why I decided to go out. Yeah, I just unboxed my limerick and it was really great. I'm actually super excited that I got it. Wow, I need to shrink my legs. I just want to get them waxed again. Shoes are on, I'm gonna head out. Bye. Okay, so we're here at the signing.
Hello, oh my goodness. Thank you everyone for coming. So it's a young adult contemporary fantasy set in modern-day Seoul based on the Korean mythology of the 괶ᴏ, which is a nine-tailed fox who can become beautiful women in order to lure in men and devour them. Lure in men and devour them.
Could you tell us a little bit about the origin story of Wicked Fox?
Well, when two books love each other. Yeah. No, actually, so Wicked Fox was very piecemeal coming together. When I was younger, I read a lot of mythologies about foxes in general. So like fox imagery is really popular in Korean mythology. So it was always in the back of my mind, and then when I was older I started seeing Korean dramas that starred the 괶ᴏ, and I love the idea that it kind of subverted the original myth, which says that she's always evil and she always has bad intentions and it's always her fault that like men are cheating on their wives and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that's true. Why would it always be her fault? And I saw how a lot of young adult fiction did that for like other evil creatures like vampires or werewolves and stuff like that, and I thought, I need to do this. Like, I need to try to unpack all of the, like, for lack of a better word, misogyny that exists within the story of the 괶ᴏ, and yeah, and then Wicked Fox came out.
So there's the mythology, but another gateway is the food. Like, literally from the jump.
Yes.
Like, I'm just like, it's the most sumptuous meal.
Well, okay, well here's the thing though, I think like no matter what culture you come from or where you live, food can bring us all together. Like, food is something that we can all enjoy no matter what language you speak or like how you were raised. So for me, like, food is comfort, food is a gathering place of all different types of people, and as I was growing up, like, my mom was a really good cook, and so was my grandmother, and so it was just the place where we congregated. I mostly grew up in Central Florida, and so there wasn't a huge Korean community, so a lot of places where I learned about my Koreanness was via my family and with food.
How you've essentially, just sort of, you've updated and also made more nuanced the portrayal of the 괶ᴏ in stories. Could you talk about that approach with regards to, other aspects, the shamans and what have you, that you took from mythology and put into this story?
Yeah, well, first of all, shamans are real, just like magic is real, everybody, so just so you know that. No, shamans are real, and the thing about shamanism, especially in Korea, is that shamanism was like one of the OG religions like back in the day, and it was mainly women, like a lot of women are shamans, and there's a lot of like matriarchal imagery within shamanism, and but then when like Buddhism and like other religions came in, which were more male-led, then shamanism was called like the religion of women and the religion of poor people, and so it was kind of pushed out. And to this day, shamanism is kind of struggling for a foothold again. And I think it's great that it still exists because of the fact that shamanism actually holds a lot of stories from the history of Korea, so we shouldn't let it die. Support Korean tourism and shamanism. So I I definitely did take at least the imagery of the ᴨᴏ, which is the goblin, and kind of tried to modernize it, because honestly, ᴨᴏs, if you look at like old Korean paintings, are really ugly. And I was like, Junwoo would never be ugly, you guys. He is a very attractive man. And so I was like, I can either be really true to the source material, or I can say, well, listen, even though we're people of color and even though we're underrepresented, we get to make up stuff too. And that's kind of the path that I ended up going down. But yeah, in my like need to research, because like I'm 49% Ravenclaw, exactly 49% Ravenclaw.
That's not a lie.
It's not a lie. I did end up like kind of just seeing like maybe there is like a kind of a line that I can find to find like an attractive ᴨᴏ, and I did actually. So the ᴨᴏ ᴨᴏ is like a bachelor ᴨᴏ, and he was made to be attractive. So I was like, ha! And then as I was writing it, this new Korean drama came out where there was a very attractive goblin in it, and I was like, justified. I have been validated. Like the gods of Korean drama came down to tell me that I am justified in creating this character.
So could you talk about some of the research that you did into this book? Because I know you're drawing from tropes from stories that you've imbibed since you were young, and you're drawing from.
Yeah, so like I was saying before, obviously shamanism is tied into the history of Korea, and so I wanted to pay homage to that. So there are little interstitials throughout the book where it tells like different like actual parts of the Gumiho legend, and it takes place throughout like periods of history in Korea. And I wanted to make sure that I was, if I was referencing something specifically, I was referencing it accurately, because I wanted to make sure like if she was like 500 years old when Goguryeo was around, then when she's 1,000 years old, it would be the Shilla dynasty, just like chronologically. And therefore, like, it was really important for me to get those time periods right. And also, it was just like a chance for me to celebrate the history of Korea, because not too long ago, there was the possibility that Korean culture and Korean history might have been wiped out by like colonialism and things like that. And it was kind of a dark time in our history. So now the fact that we get to keep that history and keep it alive is something worth celebrating. So I want to do that in my book.
I want to talk about the families for a little bit. So like, I know it's this like this trope in YA that like the parents have to, they have to perish to get, for the protagonist to like fulfill their destiny, or they have to, it's over and over and over again. But I noticed an interesting thing here is that a lot of the absences, and I guess what you could call the otherwise nuclear families, are for like selfish reasons, or it's the humans being very human, so to speak. So could you talk about, was there a conscious decision to sort of subvert the idea that like the parents had to be like nobly, they had to burst in a noble ball of flames for the protagonist to like do their thing?
Yeah, also these sound effects are really appropriate. Like, I don't know where they're coming from, but keep going. Yeah, it's actually really interesting because family is very important to me, as is apparent by the scattering of orange t-shirted people throughout this audience. And I have a very stable, amazing family, but I also think that it's important to realize that families come in all shapes and sizes, and I really think that it's important to explore that in a book that is for children. Like we can't just only have books where like the parent, like we can't all be like old school Disney movies where like the mom is dead and we don't talk about it, like every single movie. And so, yeah, I wanted to make sure that like if it wasn't a family that was like quote unquote normal, which I actually hate the idea of that because no family is actually the normal family, that there's a reason for like why it looks the way that it looks, and to show that like the characters, even if they have baggage from it, like have, the ability to cope with it, or like certain like personality traits that they've created because of it. So it was really important for me that even though Ji-hoon and Mi-young, who are the two main characters, don't have nuclear families, that they still have really important parental figures. And for Mi-young, that's her mother, and for Ji-hoon, that's his grandmother. And I didn't want it to be that they just had a complete absence of parents. But then on the other side, I did want to address the fact that Jihoon's mother and father both abandoned him, and Miyoung's father abandoned her, because the absence of parents is really important, and when we don't address it, then we're doing a disservice. And that definitely comes from personal experience. I had amazing parents. They were wonderful. They raised me fairly well, I like to think. And I don't have them anymore, and I feel their absence literally every single day. And so I couldn't imagine a character who didn't feel the absence of a parent, like every single day.
So I'm not going to ask like the obvious unfair question. I'm going to dial it back just a little bit and ask, what are some of the most, in your mind, in your personal like storytelling canon, what are some of the most influential K-dramas that have affected you?
Okay, let's go back in time. One of the first K-drama that I ever remember watching, I don't even remember the name of it, but it was my introduction to K-dramas. I was in Seoul. I was with my harmony, my grandmother, and she was not a woman who wouldn't watch what she wanted just because a child was there. So I had to watch this K-drama with her, no subtitles. And it was this woman, it was a period piece woman in full Korean garb, hanbok. And she was having a baby, like in a field, and like no one was there to help her. And she has the baby, and then she passes out, and then the baby doesn't survive. And I was traumatized, you guys.
How old were you when you saw this?
I think, I don't know, I was like 5?
What the
That was not the answer I was expecting.
I was not old. I just remember distinctly, like, this is what it's like to be in Korea. And so, like, it was really traumatizing. So I didn't watch Korean dramas for, like, 10 years after that. Because I was like, I don't want to watch those dead field babies. So I didn't watch it again until I was maybe in high school, like early high school. And then I watched Full House, which is not the one with Uncle Jesse, okay? I see you, Jay, it's not. It's called Full House, but it's obviously a Korean drama, and it's about this is, now that I'm thinking about it, it's such a silly premise. It's a woman who goes away on vacation, her friends sell her house, and then when she comes back, the guy who bought her house is like, it's mine. And she's like, but I live here. And he's like, well, I guess we can live here together. And then, like, they fall in love. But, like, it's just both of them are like, let's not look into anything legal. Let's just accept that this is our life now. And we're fine with it. And you're cute, so, yeah. And, so that was my reintroduction. It was very important to me. That one had a lot of really good romance tropes, and then more recently, School 2013. It's your quintessential teenage experience within Korea, and I really loved it actually. I loved it and hated it because it had no romance, but it was so well done, and it has really good bromance if people like that. So I really loved that one, and then if I was going to suggest a fantasy one, it's called Oh My Ghostess.
Oh, yeah.
So, see, this is the right audience for me. I need to explain to you people how amazing this story is, and it's also another really ridiculous premise. Here's the thing about K-dramas. I can explain any K-drama to you, and you will be like, what the hell are you talking about? But you will watch that K-drama, and you will all love it. And I'm not even saying this as hyperbolic.
Good morning, guys. I'm about to head to the pool again. I'm so excited, it's so nice today. I'm going to be reading To Best the Boys by Mary Weber. I had so much fun last night. Kat Cho was amazing. Yeah, this morning I woke up late because I was up until 2 a.m. voxering because... Okay, catch you guys later. Bye! So I'm actually about to start cooking myself dinner, but it is 8 p.m. I took a nap. Well, not really a nap. I just laid in bed and closed my eyes from 7 till 8 because I still have a headache. I can never, ever seem to drink enough water while I'm sunbaking. Ever. It just seems to be physically impossible for me. So you know what? Whatever. But I did finish To Best the Boys! Finally! It has taken me so many months to get through it because I started it back in May. I'm tossing up between what I want to give it star-wise because I enjoyed it. So I don't think I've actually explained what this book is even about. So give me one sec. So the book is about this girl. Her name is Ren. So this world that we live in is kind of old-timey because, you know, women aren't expected to get an education. They're not really allowed to. They're expected to just be homemakers and lovely wives, and the upper caste is separated from the lower caste, where, you know, they even call themselves the uppers and the lowers. There's currently this illness that is going around that is kind of killing people. They don't really know where it's coming from. So Ren and her dad are kind of scientists, and so they've been investigating it, and that's kind of what she does. Her mum's currently got the illness, so they're really trying to find a cure for this illness, figure out really what it is. And what happens is, well, this is the one annoying thing, is that the book is pitched that Ren and her friend decide to take part in this labyrinth trial that occurs once a year, and it is hosted by this mysterious man, and it's said that there's like magic about it and things like that. So there's like slight magical realism in this. But the thing is Ren and her friend don't sneak in and decide to join the labyrinth dressed as boys until halfway through the book. Like, it takes halfway through the book to get to what the book is supposed to be about. And I think that's the main issue with it. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, I enjoyed it. I think that it was still really well written because it's more of a book focusing on feminism, in my opinion, especially with how it ends. It's a book about women taking charge and women showing that they have their own voice, that the ultimate message to this book, in my opinion, is the fact that, like, I belong to myself, I don't belong to someone else. So I really like that message, and I thought it was a really good book. But I feel the way that it was just pitched, it was pitched as this labyrinth book, and it was such a small portion of the book instead. I feel like it only lasted for maybe, I want to say there was definitely like the first 2/5 were like leading up to the labyrinth, the second 2/5 to the labyrinth, and the last fifth was after the labyrinth. I feel like Ren was the only character that was fleshed out. I feel like none of the side characters were fleshed out enough, and I just wish I'd gotten to see a little bit more from the side characters because they all had so much more potential. I will say, actually, I think Beryl is the side character where you really look down upon him for a lot of the book, and then you get to the labyrinth and Beryl surprises you guys. I was quite shocked by Beryl. I was like, you know what? Sorority snaps to you, dude. It was a good book. I still enjoyed it. I think if this sounds interesting to you, pick it up, especially if you're a fan of science and anatomy and also a fan of feminism. Well, who isn't a fan of feminism? But you like books that have to do with like feminist and aristocracy kind of things. I think you'd actually really enjoy this. I still enjoyed it. I just think that it could have been executed better, and because of that, I think I'm going to be giving it a 3.5 stars. But that's kind of what this book is about. I think that it ended really nicely. I think that it was very beautifully, oh my god, it was so beautifully written, like gorgeous language. Okay, bye. I am so tired. I didn't read last night. I was really tired. I had a bit of a headache. I haven't read today, so this is pretty much where I'm going to be ending the vlog. So to wrap up what I have read this week, I finished 3 books, which is so great. So I finished The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen, which is now my favorite book of 2019 so far. If you haven't checked out my mid-year book freakout tag, you should. So I obviously gave The Merciful Crow 5 out of 5 stars. The second book I read was The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, another 5 out of 5 stars. So beautiful and just way more smutty than 99% Mine. I adored it. Pick it up if you have a chance. And then the third book I finished was To Best the Boys by Mary Weber, which I gave a 3.5 out of 5 stars, and I still need to write a review for. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, thanks a bunch, guys. Bye.